Welcome back, everyone. Going into the second half here of Drop Frames. Let's talk a little bit of news. Where to begin? Amazon canceled the Lord of the Rings MMO. Amazon can't actually put out a game, it seems. They're just struggling with their game department. I don't know if it actually came out why. It had to do, they canceled it because Tencent was having some issues with it, I guess. So I don't know if that was like a licensing thing or if they wanted to change the source material, etc. But there's no new Lord of the Rings MMO. Does that impact any of you? Do any of you care about the Lord of the Rings MMO? And Ellie, you a huge Lord of the Rings fan? Where are you at with this?
I like I read the books when I was younger, and I watched the movies again. Like, when we had our kid, and I was up at 4 a.m. and just needed something to pass the time. But this might blow your mind. I've never played an MMO in my entire life.
You're probably better for it.
I feel like I missed it, right? Like I missed the golden age. So the more Lord of the Rings stuff that comes out, the happier I am. But this is one I probably would have passed on anyway, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's just one of those things where you look at kind of the history of Amazon and its games department over the past, year or 2 years or so with like New World. And then I think, didn't they have another game they were working on? They just like flat out canceled or something.
Was it Crucible or something similar, right?
Yeah, or I guess Crucible came out and then they like said, oh, this didn't go well. We're just going to kill it or something like that. Yeah, they're having a tough time over there at Amazon Games. New World, I think, is still a thing that will exist. They've changed it. And I think that's going to be coming up here in the next year or so. But Lord of the Rings MMO's out.
Did it have a name, or was it just Lord of the Rings MMO?
I think it was just Lord of the Rings MMO. Amazon was doing it because they've got their TV show coming out. And so they wanted to have that like brand synergy or whatever. They've also spent like an astronomical amount on that Lord of the Rings TV show. I want to say it's like 650 million or something. It was the reported budget for season 1. That's just staggering. That's just an insane amount of money to spend on anything.
Okay, I forgive me, but this is I didn't even know that was happening.
Yeah.
So, are they making up new stories?
Nope. I think they're doing a lot of what is the first book called? The Simulacrum?
Fellowship of the Ring?
No, the one that predates all of that nonsense.
The Silmarillion.
Yeah, the Silmarillion.
Oh, man.
There you go. I think that's what they're pulling from.
Wow.
I'm not sure. Yeah. So, a lot of elf, a lot of silly nonsense probably in that, but no MMO.
I love being a nerd in the nerd culture that looks down on other nerds. Like every single section of nerddom looks down on other nerds for being too nerdy.
Yeah.
And I love it. You're fucking elves and shit. It's like, dude, you have superhero figurines like
they're not like superheroes. They're real to me. Okay, elves are fake. Name an elf. They don't exist. Okay,
I love it.
Jeez, God, what else is out there?
But it's not just. I mean, I think it would be. I don't think it would be overstating to say 99% of nerds look down on some other faction of nerd.
Hey, I play chess, but at least I don't like paint Warhammer miniatures. Like, can you imagine what that would be like? Like
that's just a waste of money. Is what that is. It's so expensive. Yeah.
Well, and maybe look down on it's too harsh of a word. Like it's there's a line of weirdness. Like anime is I cracked open the door to see Anime Land, and I kind of peeked in. I went, this isn't my door. I'm gonna go. There's other doors down that way. I think I got the wrong room.
That's what I did with furries.
Yeah.
All right.
Just went, no, that's the wrong room. That's not.
Glad they're having fun in there. Sounds like a fun room. There's a lot of sound and fun, but thanks.
Now my favorite.
Go down to
about the Amazon
front desk.
About the Amazon MMO.
Yeah.
It's so funny to think about that because like they announced it years ago.
Yeah.
So I just get this image of like, this Amazon executive like walking into this giant development place. It's like, okay, show me what you got. They're like, oh, well, we've been working for 2 years on it. They spin the monitor around and he just looks at it. He's just like, nope, shut it down. All of it. Turn off the lights. We're done. Did y'all not see Crucible? Nope. We had Game New World 9 months. We don't even know about that. Nope. Shut it all down. You're all fired. All right. Let's go make some soap or something.
Yeah. It's sad because we joke about it. That meeting probably happened in some form.
Probably happened
in some form,
Absolutely.
right? Like they saw what they were working on. They're like, "Shut the fuck down. This is going to the TV show. Like we need the budget."
Dude, they had been working on that. It had been years, right?
I want to say 2 years. I think since they had announced it.
And we didn't even see a screenshot. Like they nothing. There was nothing about this project except the only news we ever got is that it was canceled.
Yeah.
It must have been terrible.
But I think that's like the dream as a game dev, right? Like you get to work on a game, you get paid for a couple of years, and then you don't get like cyberbullied when it comes out. That's
maybe
like
in this day and age, maybe they traded that.
Especially if it was a bad Lord of the to think like the Lord of the Ring nerd.
God. Yeah.
I heard they're very violent people.
A lot of elves.
Yes, a lot of dwarven and elf, influenced violence would have just poured down upon them. Yeah. Oh man. Oof.
Could be bad. It could be bad. Yeah. You joke about that NorthernLion, but I wonder how much that factors into a lot of things these days. Like, thank God we don't have to like deal with this on social media. Like they just canceled it before it went out and was bad. Yeah. Yeah. That probably crossed someone's mind for sure. What else do we got out there? Jason Schreier apparently confirmed that there is a Coda remake in development at Asper Media.
It's like this story won't die.
Yeah.
It's like every 3 months, it's like, hey, did you know there's a Coder game in development?
Yeah.
And then it's like a news thing for like a week, and then it goes away. This is like the 5th time this has happened, and I keep getting pinged on it. Like, hey, there's a new Coder being made. I knew the last 4 times they mentioned it. It's like, okay, we get it.
A remake though, make a new one.
Well, I mean, you got to see that there's still interest, right, in the IP before they devote money to it. That's the whole...
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, for sure. It makes sense, but like,
I used to say that a lot, and I think I still believe that's true. But also, I'm starting to just think that these are all just cash grabs.
If they're good enough,
yeah. If they're good enough, yeah.
Like, dude, Demon Souls, phenomenal cash grab. Like, oh man, Demon Souls was fantastic. The Diablo 2 remake that's coming out soon looks to be very good. Absolutely. So, I mean, like, as long as the remake's good, then grab away my dev dudes, like it's totally fine. It's the issue is when these remake comes out and they're shit, or they release a remaster and they're like, they still have the bugs of the original.
Yeah.
Which we saw, unfortunately, last year.
Right.
So yeah, Kingdom of Amalur came out. I got a game-breaking bug that when I went to Google it, I found posts from like 10 years ago, like explaining the exact bug I ran into, and it's just like
hashtag no changes, man.
Really?
It's still trending. Yeah. Asper is a game company that's worked on some other ports and like remakes, and they don't have the greatest track record, so we will see. Plus, didn't they put out like a 1080p patch or something, or like a widescreen patch for Coder a while back? Like, can't you play those games at modern resolutions? Or is that like a third
mod?
Is it a mod? Is that what that is?
I did a Coder 1 and 2 playthrough not too long ago, last year sometime, and I mean, you can make them look really good. There were definitely a few people that dropped in during Coder 2 and was like, oh, I didn't know they re-released this, and it's like, no, man, you can mod it and it looks pretty good. They're fan made though. They're not like official mods, I don't think.
Maybe that's what their plan is, just to put out the mods as like an official release. Make some money off of that. Might work out. What else is there? Discord has ended talks about the deal with Microsoft. So we can go back and delete that whole VOD where we discussed that, because apparently it's not happening. I'm curious to look at chat to see if they're excited about that. Is that a good thing? I don't know. Do we want Discord on Microsoft?
I think it's probably my personal take on it is that my understanding with Microsoft, I mean, everyone dunks on Skype, obviously, which is a disaster and got outcompeted deservedly.
Yeah.
But since the new CEO came in, there's been skepticism about the acquisitions, but people seem pretty positive about the way that they've handled LinkedIn, which they bought a couple of years ago. And people have said they actually made GitHub maybe even a little bit better, which is surprising for sure based on what people thought was going to happen. But I think it's I mean, don't people like Discord because it's just like it's like business as usual, right? Like you don't want anything to change with it at all.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to have to remember what my Microsoft login is in order to, and then it's gonna, hey, you had a Hotmail account in 1999. Like, do you want to add all these people on Discord? And I'm like, I'd rather just. It seems like it's okay right now.
Yeah. The worst part about anything being added into the Microsoft ecosystem is that fucking thing that they text you for the password recovery is like 13 characters long from Microsoft. Why is it so long? It's just ridiculous. Just make it like 8 or 6, like every other fucking reasonable company. But it's over. Discord and Microsoft, at least for now, is over. So I don't know if that means if Discord is still going to try to get, bought by someone. I'm sure they would love to be bought. That's the end goal of a lot of these companies, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know where they go. Like, it's not Microsoft. It's got to be like a Tencent, right? Like that's where my mind goes. And I think for everyone else, that's like fucking the worst possible outcome at the end of the day. So.
Yeah, I heard that they're pursuing maybe like going public instead, which would be really, it'd be interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, I just don't really understand how Discord makes money to justify like a $10 billion valuation or whatever. So I think everybody always is waiting for the other shoe to drop at some point, because I can't imagine people are buying that many like, Wumpuses or, Discord Nitro or whatever. So I think everybody's just kind of like, please don't like sell all of our data,
right?
And like chat logs.
That's
or
what
something,
they're trying to sell, right? That's where they want to make their money. I guess I could see like Epic. That was a name that was brought up in chat. Like Epic could maybe buy them and throw them into the Epic Game Store or something like that. Which, again, I think is a lot of sirens going off for people for other reasons outside of the reasons that there were for Microsoft, etc. But we'll see. They're done with Microsoft for now, so at least that's out there. We'll see where we go, where Discord goes from here. What else is out there? Sony apparently like leaked, or I'm not sure the full story, but the headline is Sony looks set to announce PlayStation Plus Video Pass. So I guess that they're gonna add into the PlayStation Plus stuff, aiming to compete with the Game Pass, that there is some sort of like Sony video thing. Where was this? PS Plus users.
Sorry, my
in
son
Poland.
wandered in.
Oh, yeah, the kid randomly wandering. Where is this? Latest month, Sony announces PlayStation Store would stop offering TV and movie content for purchase or rental later this year. They own a significant amount of television content. I'm trying to get to like what this actually means. I don't know if they said what it would be. I don't know. Is that enough for you guys? Like, they're trying to compete, right? Like they're trying to get some of that news real estate back from Game Pass, which seems to have a new announcement every single day. And I guess that's a market that, Sony has in terms of their movie department and their video department. But is that enough for it? That's like such a side, it's like a adjacent gaming thing, right? It's not about gaming. It's like, hey, come watch some movies that maybe have some relationship to our games.
Yeah, like the first thing I think of is that it's just like one more tab I have to scroll by when I boot up my PS4 that I'll probably never click on.
Yeah, that's a good point. Chat's pointing out that they did buy Crunchyroll, so I guess for any of the anime stands that you can get some anime potentially on your PlayStation if that's what you want. But yeah, they're in a tough spot, I think, with Game Pass just being as dominant as it is. So if this is kind of their first start, then good, I guess. If they add more value to the PlayStation Plus thing, that's like what, $60 a year? What PlayStation Plus I think is 60, or maybe that's just the PlayStation Plus membership. I'm not sure what the cost associated with that is, but we will see. What else do we got? Square Enix joined the growing digital E3 2021 roster. Where do you at with E3? You a big fan? You like watching all the stuff?
So as someone who mostly does like indie stuff, a lot of the time, they give like 2% of their big press conferences to indie games, and then the rest is. I hate to say it because I love Forza, but you know, when every year when Microsoft brings out like the car with the Forza livery on it and stuff like that, and they talk about it for like half an hour, you're like, just like give me something new. But I think because of like the COVID environment, like I'm actually kind of surprisingly hyped to follow E3 this year. I feel like a little convention starved, and I find it's like the most fun content to co-stream is if they make it available. Is those like announcements and awards shows and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, not a big Forza fan though, huh?
Oh, I love Forza Horizon 4. Like any game that they can shoehorn like a battle royale into it that doesn't really fit, like that's exactly my jam.
That's
so
okay.
I love Forza Horizon 4. Yeah, it's great.
Did you win a lot of their BR? I think I played their BR mode like once. That was where you had to like race to a certain spot before everyone else, right? Is that how that
like
worked?
you have one-on-one races that you get into, like you drive by somebody and you issue them a challenge that they can't deny, and then you try to get to like a spot on the map before them. I won probably like 5 or 6 games. It's you know, I mean, it's a driving battle royale. It doesn't really fit
Work or make
sense, sensibly, but it's fun to play regardless. Like I would rather play that than just do like, you know, time trial races or whatever. I'm all for mixing it up, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
When you said you said con starve, do you are you a con goer? Do you go to a lot of different conventions and stuff like that, or what's your con life like?
There was a time for sure, like in like the mid 2010s, where I went to E3 and East, and I've gone to West like every year since maybe like 2012, and I just I got over it a little bit. Like I'd rather just watch it at home, but I'll go to West every year because it's only like a 3-hour drive away. But going to East in the wintertime like makes me want to not go ever again.
Yeah,
like having to fly from the West Coast, and I'm not complaining. Like it's nice to be there. Don't get me wrong, but like one time we were flying back and it was a blizzard, and then instead of getting home, we got stranded in Minneapolis for like a day, and you're just kind of like
be stranded there.
The airport was nice, don't get me wrong, but it was like, you know, was this really? I could be at home right now, like I could be drinking a cup of coffee.
So bad to be stranded in Minnesota. Come on, man. No, it's pretty cool.
Maybe it is. What else do we got? Gaming. I'm still stuck on Zeke's impression there, so
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. What's a 1 to 10? What's your score there of Zeke's
impression? I give that like an 8. I mean, I'm not an expert in the Minnesota accent, but I like Fargo, and I feel like the Canadian rural accent is kind of similar, so it sounded authentic to me.
Not a bad score.
I have an aunt and several cousins that live in St. Paul, or used to live in St. Paul. So every time they'd come visit, I was fascinated by like, how can you talk through your nose like that? It's crazy. So I picked up a lot of Zake, because my real name is Zach. Oh, big surprise. But but my aunt would yell at me, Zake, Zake. You know, I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? Are you calling me?
Jesus. What else do we have? Microsoft has announced that free-to-play games on Xbox no longer need Xbox Live Gold. This means that Call of Duty Warzone can now be played for free on Xbox without any sub, similar to PlayStation. So, great. Good job, Xbox. You caught up with the rest of the world. I'm glad. As it should be. That'll probably sway a lot of people back over to Xbox. Hopefully. I'm sure that's why they did that. And getting rid of Xbox Gold is still like what I guess you need that for like everything else paid still. So large majority of their stuff, but still kind of silly to have that. What else do we got? Kind of a slower week. And now where are you at on JRPGs? Where do you fall in the JRPG world?
The last one I played was probably like Final Fantasy VII at launch, so I'm a little out of it. But actually, my wife is like super into JRPGs, so she plays all the Atelier and Tales and
Has she
stuff
seen the
like
new Tales of Arise trailer.
She's in my chat right now, so there you go. If she hasn't seen it yet, I can't follow it because I think I'm just too smooth brain. Like I need them to call it just like Tales 1 or 2 or something like that. Like how am I supposed to keep the order straight in my mind?
It's a good point. I don't know what
Go play
number this would
Battlefield
be.
then, I guess, right?
That's true. Yeah, I'm still
Still trying to
still
figure that
waiting
one
for
out.
Battlefield the 6 through 1941.
Yeah, a lot of numbers there. They skipped around for sure. Yeah, this is the new Arise trailer. I guess they also pushed a release date of September 9th for this. I'm trying to see. Zeke or Cody, you guys got any news that or NL? Any else chat that you see? People want to talk
There was
about?
a new Necromunda trailer today. I haven't seen it yet, but it looked pretty cool.
Okay, let's see
From
if
what
I
I've
can
heard.
find that.
And
Spiritfarer has sold 500,000 copies. That came out there. That's good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Jeff Kaplan
Love
left
that
Blizzard.
game, man.
We haven't
Oh
talked
yeah,
about that.
duh. That's like the biggest news of the week. How the fuck could I skip
I was
over
waiting
that?
for it.
Yeah. Jeez, I got stuck on this JRPG nonsense here. Yeah, Jeff Kaplan's gone. The last like bastion of the old guard at Blizzard. Well, one of the last. I guess there are a handful others still in higher positions, but he's out. He's done.
I saw something on Reddit where it looked like text from inside a game, and it's like, Jeff Kaplan. Hey guys, Jeff here. Jeff Kaplan. Can't wait to show you what we have coming for Overwatch 2. Jeff Kaplan has left the game.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, for a lot of people, I think, I mean, I look at like Overwatch 2 and I just, like my interest is now at an all-time low with Jeff no longer there. He lived and breathed that game in a lot of ways, like made me interested in that game because of everything that he's done in the past. And now, like,
Okay, for the uninitiated, like, what was his role in the game?
he was like the
He was
director.
Overwatch.
Yeah, he was Overwatch. He is
He
the
was the
reason
game.
that Overwatch is or was the way it was because of him.
Okay.
And from
internally.
some of the people that actually still play it, I've heard like, you guys remember how there was that guy at Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 who was like working on the story, he was a part of one, and when he left, they were all like, oh shit, like this is trouble. He is similar for Overwatch in that regard, where there were a lot of people that were kind of lukewarm about Overwatch 2, but Jeff was there. So, you know, maybe we'll get through this. And now Jeff's gone and they're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. NL, did you, I think out of the three of us, I'm like the Overwatch or was the Overwatch fan here. I haven't played any time recently. Did you ever jump into the Overwatch world?
Yeah, I think it was. I'm named it like my favorite game of 2017 or 2016, whenever it
Smart
came
man.
out. And I had a great time playing it. And then I ran up against what I talked about in the first half, where like people got better than me, and that made me salty and annoyed. So I was like, I'm not going to play this anymore. But I mean, what I understand about like Overwatch 2, it's kind of like people are kind of wishy-washy on it right now, right? Like it looks so similar to the first one, and the first one has kind of been marketed almost as like a game as a service type thing. People are a little bit confused about what's going on with the sequel.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, and this only adds to that confusion, right? Like I look at this and think like, how bad has it gotten that someone who quite literally, you know, you could see how much he loved that fucking game whenever he talked about it in any video that he did, or whenever he did an interview. Like, how bad has it gotten internally that he's out after 19 years at the company? He didn't even stick around for the 20-year sword. He could have been there 1 more year and got the shield with his sword or whatever.
19 years at the company, and then it was a rather quick departure. Happened suddenly. There's not a lot of like stuff about it. He didn't exactly announce he was going anywhere else, and his entire like from Jeff thing on the announcement was like a paragraph. It's just like
it's
it may absolutely be, but it doesn't look like this was supposed to happen. Like it's just it looks a little weird. Yeah, it looks a little like maybe he just threw up his hands. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, I mean, you would think with it coming out, like it's supposed to come out in 2022, right?
Yeah.
Again,
like
I don't know what happens behind the scenes, but you'd think you'd stick around at least for the launch of the game and then dip after that, unless something else was going on, like they were unhappy with the direction or who knows.
Well, you also got to think, you know, they did that BlizzCon line thing, right? Like how much of this was already there when because he wasn't in all of that much the promotional material that they used. So like were they begging him to stay till after, giving enough space for BlizzCon Line to like be done with and Overwatch 2 to get an update? Because they didn't really actually give it that much of an update. He came out and said like, hey, we don't really have anything new to show you. Here's some of the stuff that we can talk about, but we can't really go into that much. And then, however much, 3 months later, 2 months later, he's like, by the way, I'm out. Like, I'm done with this. I'm not working on this anymore.
Which is very strange.
Yeah.
Especially after comments like that.
Yeah. So it's a little scary for, Blizzard fans that are still like sticking around and like trying to see what is going to be next. Right. Like was he like the last one that was pushing back against the Activision world, the Activision
old
overlords?
guard?
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit troubling to see where we go from here. With that said, the other question is like, where's Jeff going to go? Is he going to join up with like one of the 3 studios that all of the old CEOs have started and like make another fucking awesome game? Or is he going to, lay low because he's got a non-compete for a year? Or what does it look like? Right. I think that's a lot of questions that we'll have to see. I would imagine anytime someone like that high up and that long usually has some sort of non-compete for an X amount of time, right? When they leave a company. So probably won't see anything from him for a little while, but I got to think he's got to have another gig or another game in his head where he wants to continue working on that stuff. He's not just going to leave the industry altogether. For Overwatch 2, are you still interested in it? You still want to see where it goes as someone who played?
I'd probably give it a try, at least. I mean, I feel like it's a weird time to ask the question because, at least for me personally, I feel like we're in this kind of AAA game drought to some extent where, like, I'll play anything right now, man. If you gave me the offer to play like the sequel to a game I've never touched before, I'd be like, I'll give it like a couple hours at least. Like, I'm not in a position to say no, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Chad also pointed out David Kim has left Blizzard, I think, last week. Well, maybe not as notable in terms of the public sense. David Kim was very much from like the StarCraft world, a huge brain around that game as well. So another one of the like quote unquote old guard leaving right a week earlier, I should say. So scary. We'll see. Blizzard is, it's weird company. It further continues to get weirder and weirder the more people like this leave. And at some point, I feel like you just have to remove Blizzard from the Blizzard Activision.
I was going to say, at some point, you have to stop calling it Blizzard.
It's just Activision.
It needs to be the name. It's just going to get absorbed. Yeah, if it hasn't already. At this point, they're just keeping the name around for brand recognition to push their Activision agenda.
Yeah. What were we going to ask, Zeke?
You answer my question. Like, what does Blizzard become in the? What do you think if you had to predict? And you said like they become Activision. They are Activision. Like. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of people call it that already. What is it, Actiblizzard or something?
Actiblizzard,
That's a common moniker already.
Yeah, because like apart from the new WoW expansions, they're pushing the WoW Burning Legion classic stuff. Like that's coming out. The Diablo 2 remake resurrected thing, like it was fine. It played fine. Diablo 4 obviously still very much a thing. We'll see if what that looks like at the end game. And they have very big competitors in kind of the ARPG world, which we spent a long time talking about last week with PoE 2 or just PoE in general. So they got to watch out for that. They got to be a little bit careful of not fucking up. Diablo 3, obviously a very storied history in terms of that launch that everyone will immediately harken back to the second Diablo 4 comes out if there are any issues whatsoever. So,
speaking of Blizzard stuff, NL, did you play the Diablo 2 stuff?
Not yet, actually. I would. Like, I was super into Diablo 2 when I was, I don't know, like 12 to 15 years old. I think I would totally be down to at least try it out again. And I heard like from people that it's pretty positive, the reception on the remake so far.
Yeah, me and Co both liked it. I think it. Yeah. In a lot of ways, my take on it was like, it's Diablo 2, but it's also a big reminder that games are a lot more complex these days. And like Diablo 2, you had like 2 skills or 3 skills and some gear. And so like, you compare that to something like, for me, it's PoE, right? Where it's just like this giant amount of colossal information that you have to overcome. Whereas Diablo, it's like, oh yeah, I can right click and cast Firewall. That'll kill some skeletons. That feels pretty good. So there's plus and minuses to that, right? Like if you're looking for that type of ARPG experience, then yeah, it looks very good. The lighting in that game is gorgeous. And the fact they have like a button to where you can go back and forth between the old graphics and the new graphics. Yeah, definitely.
Got the Monkey
That is
Island
cool.
button. Oh,
Yes.
I love that, dude. Yes. It's so cool casting a spell and then just like quickly hitting G back and forth and just
Yeah.
It's like I remember, but now it's better.
Yeah. NL, are you into mobile games at all? Do you shy away from mobile stuff? Where do you sit in that world?
It's been a long time since I played a mobile game, but I played in 2 esports events that were mobile game tournaments back in the day. So I think I've got the
pedigree,
professional resume to talk about them at least.
Yeah. You skipped the casual and went straight to the hardcore there. That's good.
No, sadly they were all casual games. So it was like competitive. Yeah, like competitive Fruit Ninja and stuff like that. So
beautiful.
Oh, you're a fruiter too?
Oh, what? Who's your main? Yeah. I like to use the Sai. It lets you hit 3 times as many fruits, but its range is a little lower.
Oh.
No,
not everybody has that
straight
skills.
Straight katana all the way. It's just
I could tell.
It fits, man. It fits.
I didn't even know there's multiple.
We'll talk after the show.
And fruit
Yeah.
Are you going to FruitCon this year? I heard it's back on.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Had a little bit of Resident Evil news. Resident Evil 4 is getting a VR game coming out on the Oculus hardware. That's a little bit of, you can, there's probably ways to make it work on like the Vive stuff, right? But you got to get into that Facebook brand if you want to play some Resident Evil VR.
I'll wait.
Yeah, I don't. This is a weird thing. There's also not that much. It's just a bunch of talking heads here. Here's a little bit of the footage. How do you feel about Facebook in VR?
Oh, badly, yeah.
Like I about it.
Well, I was like at the perfect age to get into Facebook, like when it first kind of opened up, and then they reached a point where I was like, I don't think mankind is meant to know everybody's like innermost thoughts at all times, just because you like had a 3rd grade class together or something like that. So I deleted it a couple of years ago. So sadly, this is gated off for me, but that's okay because a lot of VR games make me throw up anyway. So
okay,
it's no big loss for me.
Yeah, nothing lost there. Yeah, chat saying this is Quest 2 only, but I think that there is like isn't there like Vive software where you can play the Quest stuff on the Vive? Like, isn't it called Revive or something like that?
There were a lot of things like that before, but Quest 2 is a little bit different.
Oh.
It's like a standalone, and I think Facebook may or may not be doing some more things to lock that stuff down.
Makes sense.
Before you absolutely could like jailbreak things kind of, so they could be run on different headsets, Vive and Index. But I don't know about this stuff. The fact that they're going to be also, for those that don't know, they're going to be like soon mandating Facebook logins.
Yeah.
And I remember that was kind of a big point of contention because if you got banned off Facebook, you would basically like lose access to your stuff, your games and stuff, which is kind of a huge deal. So yeah, I don't know how it's all going to work exactly because they're still in that middle period now, but it's not going to be pretty. It never is with Facebook.
No, it's not. I wonder why. I guess money is probably the answer before I say the question, but like, I wonder why Capcom went with Facebook there. If it was just like, hey, here's a chunk of change, we'll develop the entire game for you. You just got to give us your IP. It's probably money, right? Like,
probably money.
Yeah.
It was probably money. And then we said, no, not money. It was more money. And then it was probably a little bit of sprinkling on top of that. And then they're like, okay, fine. I'll get another yacht.
I mean, in a lot of ways, if that money went towards Resident Evil 8, then maybe nothing's really lost, right? If we got another full-fledged numbered Resident Evil game out of it, who's to say? what else is out there? CD Projekt Red. I feel like anytime I state that, people start groaning. Estimated record revenue of 562 million for 2020. So it seems like as bad as Cyberpunk 2077 did it, they still made a lot of money last year.
I don't know how hard it is to get record revenue when, you know, you release the game for the first time in like 5 years, right? Or 6 years?
That's true.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, they did well enough to open a new office in Vancouver for sure. So,
Oh God,
in the Cohh.
NL, you called
In
it
the
a
Cohh.
game. My
No.
chat is going to explode with quote game.
oh no, it's like when I say something's free on Game Pass, you know, then they go,
Mhm.
oh, free.
Quote free.
Oh.
Yeah.
Free.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Use your free Prime Gaming sub, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
that's why I swear to God, like every time I do my little midday spiel about like where you can contact me or how you can support the channel and stuff, I say bonus every time. Amazon Prime bonus sub.
There you go.
The bonus is on top of something else you already got.
I like it.
There you go.
So yeah, a bonus game from Xbox.
It goes on to say that it was 562 million in revenue and 303.6 million in profit for the financial
What's crazy
year.
is that's a lot of money. Think if it actually released good.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Wow, he's
oh my
saying
God, that seems like a lot of money to us, but this was a game that was supposed to be like the crown jewel of gaming. Like that number could have been so much higher. So I mean, I'm glad they made money, and it's also good because in tandem with that, they have now publicly been like, we are not giving up Cyberpunk. Like, we are going to stick with this game and we are going to make it good. Like, we screwed up and it's going to happen. So that's good. And now that we know that they made money on top of it, that's even, you know, it would have been a lot more troubling, for instance, if we heard that they had to refund most of their money and it didn't meet sales. They're like, we're going to try to keep doing Cyberpunk. So yeah, that's, you know, hopefully given time, this will still be a redemption arc, but we are very much at the beginning and it could go anywhere from here.
Yeah. I mean, even with the launch being what it was, they reported on December 22nd that they had sold 13 million copies of the game. So that's still like far and away a crazy amount for any game. That's a pipe dream for any game out there. So yeah, you can only imagine if the game released without issues, how well it could have done. But we'll see. Let me see if there's any other stuff out. Like, I just forgot about the Overwatch thing.
Square Enix was gonna be sold and then they weren't. That's the only thing I remember.
Yeah, so
They're going to be sold?
well, they issued a statement.
Yeah.
Like, do you know the full story of that? Because they like, there was this huge rumor one night, literally out of nowhere, where it's like, oh, Square Enix is looking to be sold to like Sony, or maybe Microsoft is buying them, or all this shit. And then like the next morning, I think they put out a press release that's basically saying like, it was okay. So Bloomberg has reported today. I'll just read their thing from the Square Enix Holdings Co. Ltd. They said Bloomberg has reported today that there is interest from several buyers to acquire Square Enix. However, this report is not based on any announcement by Square Enix Holdings Co. Ltd. We do not consider selling off the company or any part of its businesses, nor have we received any offer from any third party to acquire the company or any of its businesses. That's it. That was the whole statement that they put out. So
Has Bloomberg responded to that at all? Was that
not that
that's kind of wild?
Yeah, not that I can see.
Like, did they cite sources in the original article, or were they just like, hey, this drunk guy at a bar told me that Square Enix might get sold?
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain. Let's see. It is, I mean, it might have been another Schreier thing. I'm not 100% certain. He's out there just blowing up rumors and making announcements of unannounced games, etc. Okay, so it says the original rumor came from a Japanese banking paper that just reported that people were expressing interest, which could still be true, but everyone always gets such offers. Bloomberg only reported on it as Square Enix stock had risen 10% due to the speculation. Also, while people have loved to talk about Microsoft buying Sega for the last year, there hasn't been any similar credible business reporting on it like this. This kind of talk has been limited to gaming sites who don't actually know anything most of the time. There was major business outlet. This was a major business outlet with credibility, which is why Sega has never commented on the endless Microsoft rumors. So, talking about the differences between the two. because Bloomberg, pretty big publication to come out and say something along those lines. But yeah.
Two other small things
Sure.
for Warhammer fans. I haven't actually watched it yet. If we want to on here, we can. I dropped the link in the chat. There's a new Hired Gun trailer out. I got to admit, that game looks pretty cool. I'm really hoping it's cool because it actually looks like it could be kind of fun. And then the second little bit of news for old school Chivalry fans, if you did, make sure to check your email because I think they have a beta event, a closed beta that's going to be larger than normal. It's going to be happening soon, and I think they're sending out invites to that. So I know I'm looking forward to diving back into Chivalry. That was one of the first like community games I ever played back in the day. We would have Chivalry nights and just drink beer and poke each other's heads off with halberds. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Chivalry is the game where everybody just goes, "Ah!"
Yes.
like the whole time.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the one. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then Chivalry 2 should have been a lot sooner, but it got eclipsed by this other game called Mordhau, which is pretty fantastic. And Mordhau has been kind of like the reigning champion for a while. But Chivalry 2 is coming out, and they're claiming that it's going to kind of like really bring back the Shiv name and update a whole bunch of fun stuff and throw in some things that haven't been done before. So cautiously optimistic, man. It could be great to get some Chivalry in again.
Yeah. I have heard from people. I'm excited to play Chivalry 2. Let's just cut around a lot of the yes, it seems like it will be good for that from things that I've heard. So we'll see whenever that comes out. What was you were talking about Necromunda, right? In terms of the
Necromunda Hired Gun. It's their first person. Now this is what's weird. I didn't really know exactly what it was, but I skipped around the trailer, and at one point they're talking about loot and like maybe procedural missions. So I don't know if it's like a looter shooter or
is it like Vermintide?
No, I think it's more single player.
Oh.
So I that's the thing. I'm not really sure. I keep seeing stuff about it.
This is their Enter the Hive trailer, which came out this morning. So looks to be a single player in nature. I don't know if they're going to go into it.
These are all created characters. So you make your dude
okay.
in the Necromunda thing, which looks pretty cool. That part looks pretty badass.
Yeah.
And there's a story of some kind you can move through as well.
Huh. I feel like the Warhammer.
I look at this shit and I just lament Cyberpunk, like the character creation. Like I really do. Like I look at this, I'm like, that guy looks cool. That chick looks awesome. Oh, what a badass. And then I'm like, you want a big peepee or a small peepee? I'm like, come on. You're better than this. Look at this game. This game nailed it. Why can't you? Anyway, sorry.
For me, I look at this and it's just like, man, the Warhammer IP needs a win, right? Like Vermintide
Yes,
is
it does.
this one. I think that it can be counted as a win, but
Hoping this new 40K one coming out is a win too. It's basically Vermintide, but in 40K. So
yeah,
I mean that could be super cool if they
Yeah.
do it right. But this one actually is looking pretty cool. It's got a good style to it. Looks like it really fits in the world, and gameplay looks interesting. But this
it looks
right here
kind of doomy. Like it's
it does
fast.
look a little doomy. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you just rip that guy in half. That's always fun. Looks like there's some bigger boss fights and stuff. And I mean, if there's like actually a diverse amount of loot and the gameplay is fun, I mean, this could be a good one.
Yeah.
That was pretty great. Like stabbed right through his hand into his face.
It's fun, man. I hope it is.
Yeah.
For those interested, they have a few
Hold on, you
little
said
video.
This is a Warhammer. This is a Warhammer title.
Necromunda is like a giant mega city in the Warhammer universe that is like full of gangs and derelict technology and like multi layers. It's super cool. The last Necromunda game unfortunately didn't do super well. It was kind of like an XCOM adaptation. I tried playing it, but it was a little bit clunky and it had some weird tech stuff going on. So, yeah, hopefully this one is going to be a little bit more fleshed out.
Yeah.
I'm just so like I wish I could interface with it, but like Warhammer, it's so confusing for me. Like there's 40K is the future one.
Yeah,
that's correct. Okay, and then like I thought I almost got a handle on Vermintide, and just when I got a handle on that, they threw Blood Bowl at me. I don't even know if that's related to Warhammer. And now there's a Necromunda, and I have not read the memo on the Necromunda yet. I think I'm missing some required reading material.
I think, as far as I understand, and I'm kind of with you on this, I'm very rudimentary in this. Necromunda is a location / like lore pod in 40K. So there's Warhammer. A good way to think about it that I was told back in the day, Warhammer is like fantasy, and Warhammer 40K is like sci-fi that's based on that fantasy world. So they're trying to cover all their bases. Warhammer for the fantasy nerds and 40K for the sci-fi nerds. So and then Necromunda is like a location in 40K. And please, someone in chat, write me if that's. Blood Bowl is Warhammer NFL. See, I didn't even know
Blood
that.
Bowl
is
an alternative version. It's set an alternative version of the Warhammer fantasy setting, populated by traditional fantasy elements. Oh, blah blah blah. But yeah.
Oh, they're separate.
I did not know that.
Oh, see, I always thought Warhammer 40K was 40,000 years later in the Warhammer world, but they're actually like two completely different worlds.
I don't. Is that real? I thought that they
what
were
have I done?
The same.
There's no connection.
Yeah, I thought 40K meant the year 40,000. I thought.
Yeah.
But I just assumed though. But
and where does Kingdom Hearts fit in? Where does Kingdom Hearts fit into this universe, or is that?
We need to talk about the secrets of the heart first, NL, and then we have to develop friendship connections that bring in the happy beams. No, don't even.
My mistake. Yeah.
Have you played? I mean, you're talking
get on the Hydra's back.
You're talking to a 300-hour Kingdom Hearts veteran here, NorthernLion.
I just have the same story about Kingdom Hearts I've told like 20 times, which is like it came out when I was in 9th grade, and I borrowed it from a friend of mine, beat it, and then I gave it back to him in science class, and he treated it like I was trying to give him like something super embarrassing. He was like, "What are you doing giving that to me in public? Like people are going to know that I own this game that has Mickey Mouse in it." That's the only thing I remember.
Well, I'm assuming like the way it makes sense to me as far as going back to the 40K thing is like Dungeons and Dragons. Like there's Ravenloft, there's Forgotten Realms, there's Dark Sun or whatever. Like they're all related, but they're all completely different like place settings.
Yeah.
Today I learned there's realms in D&D.
Oh yeah. That's how it goes. I'm still thinking about Kingdom Hearts and if this was a serious conversation that we needed to jump into, because I mean I love Donald Duck. He's the most powerful wizard in all of Square Enix worlds, and I would love to talk to you about it in great detail. But if this is not the place,
all about
we can move forward.
Xenohort and Roxos and Zaxos and all of them.
How dare you?
Love them.
How dare you slander
love them all.
These Kingdom Hearts characters? How dare you? This is your last time on the show. There was some footage that came out this morning. We were talking about the old hack and slash. This is official closed beta combat trailer.
Oh damn, that's the gameplay?
Yeah. It's looking pretty good.
It's a lot better.
Yeah. It's crazy to think how long, like when did that first game come out? Like
long time
This
ago.
is Chivalry?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Chivalry 2. Chivalry 2.
Right.
Yeah, it's like when did that I don't even know when.
Chivalry came out October 16th, 2012.
Jeez.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
Wow. Unreal Engine
since
3.
Since we're on this topic, I'm going to say it loud and clear.
Oh.
Respect the fucking 1v1. All right? Respect it.
Nah. Shoot that motherfucker in the head.
I'm
with
not
an
going
arrow.
to respect it. I just want everyone else to.
Yes. Yeah. I look for the 1v1s just so I can shoot heads when they're like trying to be badass. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Wow. This looks pretty. I mean, the original game was pretty gory. This looks on another level. That clip timed up beautifully there. His head just popped off.
I honestly can't wait to play this game again. This game is one of the best games to stream on Twitch. It's super easy to set up your own server. You just be like, okay, everyone who wants to play, just make your name the same as your Twitch name, and then you all just like load into it. It is so much fun to play this game with the community. It is so great.
Yeah.
And it's just fucking madness a lot of times. Like you can set up strategies and all that kind of stuff, but more often than not, it's just like swing around and kill as many things as you can.
Yeah,
but it works
the entire time.
That's the best part. It works. Like the fact that every weapon is physics based, and like if you just swing that shit around, like you'll make contact eventually, and someone's gonna die when you do. It's so great.
This game for me, it goes exactly in line with what NL was saying earlier about multiplayer games. This game's fun until you get one guy who knows what the fuck they're doing, and then you just never see another kill because he just is so good at the game that you'll just never kill him. You'll never even.
You know how you knew that in the first one? It's when someone would run at you and they weren't even looking at you. They were doing this.
Yeah.
And then they were ducking and they'd be like, and you're sitting there like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden your left arm falls off. And you're like, what the is this? And he's just like still looking at the sky.
Yeah. The gods.
Oh my god, dude.
The gods. Huh. They're just showing all the different type of stuff here. This is a IGN video. It's about 6 or 7 minutes long if you want to watch the full thing. It's looking good. Definitely want to see more of that.
Oh, Jesus.
Do they have a release date for that yet? Or is it just like a... Oh, so the game's closed beta is April 23rd through the 26th. Oh, that's this weekend.
Oh, 2 days?
Oh. Well, there you go.
So, where do we put our apps in?
I don't see like a yeah. I don't see a sign up for that now. Maybe this weekend. We'll see.
Can we we stream that one?
I don't know
Maybe.
that either. Oh, chat saying pre-order. If you pre-order, you get in. At least one person said that. Double check before you just start mass pre-ordering that shit.
Yeah.
And then the other bit of news will be a lot shorter on it as we covered it in great detail last week. Path of Exile got off to a really rough start on Friday, potentially like one of their worst league launches of all time / in recent memory. It was bad. Disconnects were nonstop. The servers just had some really bad issues. I think they chalked it up to a database error at the end of I think like 5 or 6 a.m. Saturday morning. They finally like quote fixed the servers. But apart from that, there was also this whole issue of they did a bunch of sponsored streams, both of which I think I was part of. I think Cohh was part of. I'm not 100% certain. And alongside those sponsored streams, they whitelisted our accounts, which I did not know going into it. I think both Cohh and I and a handful of other streamers asked to be removed. But by whitelisting us, we got to skip the queue. And so while it doesn't matter in a lot of other games, the community was very upset about this because when you start doing the idea of skipping a, X amount of 15 person 1,000 queue or something like that, while it doesn't take long to get in, the disconnects were happening so much and so frequently that you were constantly in queue unless you could just skip it and get back right into the game. You could get further along in the game. And you could start to influence the economy if you knew what you were doing. While 99% of the people who were getting past the queue do not have the knowledge or the skill or ability to influence the economy. Other streamers who do not necessarily or were not doing a sponsored stream did have that whitelist ability and could very much influence the game's economy and are now banned for influencing the game's economy for some other reasons. So it was a very, very big pain thing, growing pain. It was just an awkward time to stream that game over the weekend. I'm interested to hear like Cohh's side of it because I think he started on Saturday morning, whereas we were on Friday kind of in the thick of it. But chat was very combative. You had to constantly say like, guys, at first everyone was like, oh, the streamer queue exists. And I was like, I don't even know what the fuck that is. Like we weren't told that this is going to be a thing. I don't think that exists. Like that seems really fucking weird. And then they're like, no, they confirmed it. There's a streamer queue, like 100%.
Was the streamer queue like responsible for breaking the game for a lot or breaking the servers or whatever?
Not only
there was a side problem.
Not only was it not for that at all, but the impact that it had on the normal player that was in queue was like complete. It was inconsequential. The issue was not the queue itself.
Yeah.
The issue was the idea of the queue, where people that were in many cases not like two people for two things. First, people that weren't diehard PoE players were getting, way better treatment than people who have been playing it for literally years. And the second thing was like there was some publicity from some of them, as JP kind of alluded to, where they were, some of them were racing and some of them were going for world first and stuff, and they were making some public comments about it that probably didn't represent the company as well as it should have, and it was just not a good situation. Now, to their credit, PoE released a letter about.
If I may,
Go ahead.
The thing is, like, preferential treatment happens everywhere everywhere. Like, it just people who drive product get better fucking treatment. That's the way that it works, and that's beneficial to the company that makes your game. Is that maybe someone who doesn't play it all the time but gets 50,000 viewers? Like, I get it. I mean, is that so? Okay, tell me why that is so wrong. And if it were me, I would not be upset about it because I would understand. Like,
so
this
would
is
you say
fucking business.
Life isn't fair? Is that what you'd say?
It's business.
Yeah. No. So anyway, that's. I mean, you're right, but the thing is it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different when it's the kind of situation where there's people racing to it, and most importantly, the big issue it turned out to be a lot of people assumed that the problem with everything was load. They thought that the PoE servers were getting bombarded, and they thought they were getting overloaded. But that actually later turned out, because to their credit, GGG released a big statement. It wasn't load; it was a bug. It was first a migration issue. They tried to fix it. That introduced a bug. It was all sorts of messy. So what would happen is people would get kicked and have to requeue, but streamers could just keep jumping that requeue every time they got kicked. So it became this like super unfair advantage. It's not like just a life thing. It's not like they're getting early access before everyone else. They're literally like getting a backdoor access. And the thing is again, to GGG's credit, they didn't really think about that. In their eyes, they were going, we know our server's on fire. We know stuff is shitty. So we're going to give streamers access so they can at least give the people something to watch while we try to figure our shit out. So, I mean, it came from a good place. It's just favoritism never works out in the end. Someone always gets pissed at that. Yeah. So, and then of course you had the incendiary comments made by some on top of it, where they were kind of goading everyone else, and those then of course caught on fire. So it was messy. It was messy. And they learned their lesson. They said they're not going to do it again. And I think that's smart of them.
I think that's smart as well.
They tried it, it messed up, and they were like, we learned from this, we're not doing this again. So
yeah.
You don't want to be the streamer in that position either, right?
Oh, that's why it has to be removed, dude. Because I was like, there's no fucking way this exists. And then they're like, no, this actually exists. And I'm like, well, I need to get removed from this immediately so I don't catch any shit, right? Because like that's what was happening. Is you would see on Reddit, on like the PoE Reddit, no one could play the fucking game. So there was like 50, 60,000 people on Reddit just, pissed as fuck, going to streams, clipping streams, throwing that in there. Then streamers would get shit from those people seeing those clips. And it was just like a bad experience for everyone involved at the end of the day. And then you had streamers that weren't saying the smartest things, right? And like those people got a lot of shit. And then now those people are ultimately banned from the entire league for other issues. So it was not a good time for sure across the board in that first like 24-hour or 15-hour part of the league. But it's all better now for the most part. You could say that the economy is, a lot of people are saying like, oh, you need to restart the league because like the economy is going to be screwed and blah, blah, blah. But my take on that is like, the people that actually do influence a league when it comes to the economy of it are going to do that regardless of if they can get in the first 5 minutes or the first 15 hours, right? Like the people that want to fuck with the economy in PoE and have done so every league in the past 5 or 6 leagues will continue to fuck with the economy any way they want because they just can do that, right? Like they're set up to, they're equipped to be able to do that at the end of the day. And the 99.9% of the rest of the people aren't. It's just not something that they can feasibly do.
Is it the kind of thing where there's like a way to, like you can buy things with real money in the PoE economy? Like, is that part of the reason that people are upset about it? Or is it just that it like makes certain kinds of builds like more viable than others or something like that?
the economy is something that a lot of people like really get into for each league. The price of like different currencies or these items called chaos orbs and exalt orbs, and how much of those exist can dictate their currency. Especially like if in this case, if some people get too much, they can destroy certain aspects of the economy for their own gain and really screw a lot of people. Like one thing that's very popular is that people will watch very popular streamers play, and then they will attempt to, get items that are necessary for their very good builds that they're showing off, and then try to like, hoard them, jack up the price. It's all sorts of nastiness. So it's basically real life capitalism in some ways, but it's a lot different when people get some tools that may make it a lot easier for them, because those tools with the mind and the right mindset can really make a lot of people angry, because it feels like they're shutting their own door. It feels like it's shutting doors for them. So that was kind of the main thing. But there's no IRL money. The IRL money is just cosmetics and stash tabs and stuff like that. It was pretty much all in-game stuff. But even that for some people is a huge deal, because you can't use real life money. So that's all I have.
Yeah. So it's all better now. It's all fixed. The league is continuing. The league's fine. Cohh, are you still playing? You still trucking along in it?
I really like my build, but the problem is I swear they did something to map dropping. I've put in a bunch of hours, and where I'd normally be like tier 10ish, I'm like barely 5. And that's kind of taken the wind out of my sails a little bit. And then on top of that, I was having a really good time with it, but I can't shake the feeling that Gamba League, which is a new one, feels very similar to Ritual in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm kind of doing the same thing. And the last league was one of my biggest leagues in the game ever. So I feel like I'm not really, it's very similar. So I think that's, those in conjunction have me a little bit less enthused than I think I'd normally be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still playing it on and off. I don't know how much more I'm going to do in the league. But people I keep getting mixed answers. Like I say, man, the map drop seems a little light. No, it's just you. That has nothing to do with it. And then someone else will be in chat. No, it definitely is.
That's always a conversation, right? Like,
yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I put like 80 hours into it. I'm probably done. Like I'm stepping away. I bricked an item last night that is crucial to the build, and bricked being like you have to get into the mechanics. Essentially, I have an item that I was trying to make better. It didn't get better. It got worse. And now it's like, well, do I want to invest a shit ton of time into that, into fixing it, or just stop? I'll probably just stop. Because that's just how it goes. I'll play again in 3 months for sure. Yeah. PoE's, if you want to watch us talk about PoE more, and you are inclined in such a thing.
Enough this week.
Last week we did two whole hours on it. So by all means, go and do so. Let's talk about some of the other stuff in the, we only have 20 minutes left. 20 minutes left of the show. NL, what else have you been playing besides the Isaac? I'm kind of going back through some of your VODs. Jumping into, you're doing some Rainbow Six. What's going on with the Siege?
So Sips. I've been playing a little. I've been playing games with Sips, and we're trying to find stuff that like works for both of us. So Siege is something that I've played a little of Siege over the years. I find it pretty easy, like at my level, to drop into, and not just get blown away the way you do in. I don't know, like even just taking like a couple of months off from Warzone, when I jump back into it, I just get crapped on for hours and hours. Like it's so fast, but Siege is a little bit more methodical. So I think that's something I've been playing a lot of. And like, apart from that, I mentioned I played Say No More, but like, apart from that, just a ton of Isaac, and occasionally like some meme games. Like last month I got into this game called Alt F4, which is just like, basically getting over it plus, but it's like an obstacle course type thing that was a lot of fun. And that's the kind of stuff that I like to play on stream. Like yesterday I did a segment. Somebody took they made a quiz on this website called Sporkle, which is online trivia. That was like 125 screenshots from videos that I've made on games, and then to see how many of them I could actually remember the name of that I've played over the years. And I only got like 55% of them right or something like that. I was mighty embarrassed. But yeah, that's how I spend my non-Isaac time, which is very limited on stream these days.
Sure. Yeah. Siege is rough, I would say. What were we going to say, Zeke?
I'm curious as to what I know that you play probably a lot of platforms like everyone does, but what's your Steam game count at?
How do you check the total size? You know, like
If you go to your library,
okay.
and uncheck everything, it should say at the top all
Yep.
something out of total games.
Yep.
I think.
Okay, I need a moment. I'm trying to, because like I have everything's unchecked, but it has recent and then like by month as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean, I could.
You have to uncheck the clock and the little play tab. You have to uncheck both of
Oh, okay. It is 1711.
1869, brother.
Hey,
Hey,
you
you
got
homie.
me.
Hanging out. Yeah. 1869 games. I figured you'd be like,
Up there.
close
there,
to that
yeah.
at least. Yeah, if you do that type of shit, and
Yeah. You
Well,
mentioned
like
I'll give me Steam game envy over here. No, Lord.
They had a Twitch Rivals for this game called Pummel Party that I was in last week, and they had stats that I had never seen, and they're like, you've streamed 540 games on Twitch or something like that, or 540 games in the last couple of years even, and I was like, man, that's a lot. That's an awful lot.
what I'm trying to see what Pummel. Okay. This is
Pummel Party. It looks like Indie Mario Party.
Yeah. It's like Mario Party if Nintendo could figure out to just do the online the way everybody wants it to be done instead of always trying to put some weird kind of restriction on it.
Yeah. Wait, so how was the Rivals event for this? Did you win?
It was good. I mean, it was like the most casual Rivals of all time. Like I just picked 7 other people and we played some Pummel Party together for a couple of hours. It was for charity, which was nice as well. And yeah, it was a good time. Really easy.
Nice. It's always good. Are you winning in Siege? Because you were like, yeah, I'm going into this game and there's probably not. I feel like Siege is the worst FPS to jump into because people know every corner and like wall that you can shoot. It's like Counter-Strike on steroids in a lot of ways.
I'm like, my KDR is bad, like genuinely not good at all. But I mean, I just have fun with it. Like I'll play a sledge and then like get the whole team to stand on a breakable ceiling tile and then just sledge everybody into the room and hope for the best. Like I don't know. I like camping. Like so many other games, you're incentivized not to camp, and then in Siege, they're like you're supposed to just hold an angle the whole time. So, for me, I think it's easy to get into, but maybe it's because my standards are lower as well.
Yeah. I've played a lot of. How is SIPs? And is someone who's only interacted with SIPs in a non-FPS environment and has heard of the Overwatch rage of SIPs? Where are we at on the salt meter of SIPs?
I'd say he doesn't get that mad in Siege, but we're just shooting the
Goofing
breeze
around.
most of the time. Yeah, but like I've watched him play Warzone with another friend of mine, and I'm like, I can see where the salt comes from for sure.
Yeah, we've only done zombies in Warzone, and like he was okay in terms.
Oh,
of the rage.
I played Valorant with him one time, and he uninstalled the game.
That. He said he fucking hated that shit. He said that was the fucking worst game ever made.
I saw a clip. He went off for like 4 or 5 minutes afterwards about how bad the game was, and I was not
happy. He was real fucking upset about it. It's funny shit. Cohh, what have you been up to? PoE mostly, just kind of going through the VODs. Did you finish? I think you did a day of disco, and you're also playing.
Yes, PoE, a day of disco Elysium. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
I'm still just infatuated with how good that game is. The writing and everything, it's been great. I definitely still have more to go. And then today I started Resident Evil 7 on the PC to get ready for Village. And man, that game holds up.
When does Village release?
I tell you.
Beginning of May, like May 7th, I think.
So it's like a couple weeks away, the new one. Yeah. So,
wow.
And man, on the PC, it is gorgeous. Running at 144, 1440, like it's a real. I definitely recommend playing through it again on the PC. If you enjoyed it the first time. I'm playing on Madhouse difficulty, so it's kind of old school, limited saves. You have to get cassettes and you spend one every time you save it.
Nice.
So it's definitely
it's like the ribbon ink
increase the
bullshit
tension a bit.
Or ink ribbon.
Yeah. And the good part is I played this in VR, and like 4 years ago.
Oh, you did good.
So, yeah, I barely remember any of it. Like I didn't even remember the first part.
It's a different game in a lot of ways, right? Like
it feels like a different game in a lot of ways too.
Yeah.
I remember like the first one was so much more kind of connected emotionally because of the VR. I remember feeling different ways and different things. And like I'd go through the same scenes in this and not feel anything like I did when I was doing it in VR. Like I'll never forget in VR looking down when she well, slight spoilers, but with the hand thing, if you guys remember that, like at one point this girl's attacking you with a chainsaw and you put your hand up to block it and it just goes through your hand.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget in VR, like I felt tingles, like it was so surreal, like looking at your hand in VR and watching your hand fall off, and it's just like it's like a phantom limb weird mind game that it plays with you. But in this it was just like, oh damn, that looks like it sucks. I'm going around like with my stump like squirting blood on people, like, you know, just having fun with it. And in VR the whole time I was just like, you know. So it's very different, but it's still very fun. And it's beautiful, and it's Resident Evil, and yeah, I'm really enjoying the playthrough. It's been great so far.
Yeah. And Al,
do you remember how you felt playing it the first time in VR? I'm just wondering what the difference is, because I never went back to it non-VR. Like I played through it in VR. It was a fantastic experience. I loved it. One of my favorite VR experiences ever. And I'm just wondering how it holds up. Like it seems like it could very well be just a mediocre Resident Evil game.
No, it's
not
good.
For VR.
Like it's a solid. It's really really good. Let me put it this way. It's great like this, but it is something special in VR. To this day, it is my favorite VR game behind Alex. I still think Alex is like the VR experience right now. But this game is like a close second. The way that it utilizes VR, and you can kind of tell how it does even when you're playing on the PC, especially with how it utilizes the jump scares and the way your limbs are being shown and stuff. But it was really, really something special in VR. And without VR, it's just a damn good first-person horror game.
Yeah, I need to play through it in VR otherwise.
It's really good. It's one of the few horror games I've ever played through as well. It's just like this and Resident Evil 2 remastered.
Yeah. Did you play RE3 remastered?
Did you say?
Okay, don't.
Don't.
yeah, you don't need to. Yeah, what we're gonna ask.
It's not worth the price, but it's not a bad game.
Yeah,
I liked it. Okay. No, VR. Are you a VR person?
No, I get motion sick like so easily.
Oh,
but
sure.
The most like buyer's remorse I've ever had in my entire life. I bought the Gen 1 Vive with like the HR Geiger cables coming out of the back of the headset and stuff like that, and I used it for like 3 days and then just boxed it up and haven't touched it since. So it's maybe one day they'll come out with something that makes people with like bad inner ear problems like be able to play this stuff, but for now I'm kind of on the outside looking in.
It's funny, I bought like 3 VR headsets and I really liked it, and then I boxed it up and I haven't played it at all after like, you know, the 3 hours that I played it as well. So yeah, it's
a lot of
same
setup,
experience.
you know. But, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit with it. Kind of a motherfucker. Zeke, what about you? What have you been disco? You done? Are you done with the disco?
I asked my chat the end of last stream if I could finish it in one more, and they said maybe. So it's looking like I've got 8 to 10 hours left of the game. I did a lot of side stuff, apparently, like a lot of side questing that seems to be like there's a side thing in the game that seems monumentally more important to discuss and discover. I won't spoil anything, but it seems like way more important than the actual thing you're there for, which is, you know, murder mystery, right? But you come upon this other thing and you're like, this seems more important, like by far. I like exponentially more important, and it's a side thing? Okay, sounds good. But yeah, other than that, like it's still a fucking fantastic game. And when you really start to get into like, you know, there's lots of lore, which is just fine. I hit my.
Oh yeah, I was trying to figure out. I did my. Oh God, is the cat on? Oh nope, that was Zeke.
But there's a lot of lore and stuff, and but when you get into the main story and you start talking about what's going on, everything just comes together. It's like, it's really, really, it's like the zenith of good storytelling is like happens because you have all this other information that was like fluff, but little tendrils of it like go into what's actually like the main story quest.
Yeah.
And you just like, it had like, there were many hours in the last couple of streams that I was just like, it had my rapt attention, and I like felt myself like leaning in closer to the screen to be like, whoa, you know? And I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not too much lore. It is. It really is. It's too much. It's too much. You know, I don't need all that. It's like, that's a lot. And then you step in it and you're like, oh, fuck, this innocuous person that I didn't think was going to talk my ear off decides that's exactly what they're going to do. And you're just like, man, I just want to get back to the juicy turkey that I was eating. You're shoving potatoes in my mouth.
It's a turkey mash pit. Yeah.
But no, it's some of the best storytelling. It's some of the best storytelling in any video game that I played, but it's also some of like the most superfluous exposition that I've experienced as well. So I'm still I want to see what happens. I have to see what happens. I'm excited to see what happens.
Awesome.
So tomorrow I'll be doing it. Oh, it's a minor bit of news. Like, I'm going to get my shot number 1, my vaccine shot number 1 tomorrow.
Hey,
so I might be late too.
What gang are you?
Might be late to stream. I think I'm in the Pfizer gang.
Oh, wait,
no.
Cohh, what?
No.
Oh,
Moderna. You know what? I don't remember. Shit.
Wait, is this a Moderna gang?
My Moderna brother.
Oh
That's
man,
right.
I'm that J&J gang. NL, do you have you got a shot yet?
No, it's probably gonna take till like June up here, but I'm happy for you guys. You know, go off, and then just all I ask is if you see it on Twitter, if I post like a selfie with a Band-Aid on my arm in like November, people are still like, yeah, good on you. Just remember that for 6 months from now.
Oh God, yeah, that is true. I wonder if that'll be the thing, or if everyone's gonna be like, "Hey man, welcome to the party." You're just gonna go out and start.
Yeah, welcome to the year 2021.
Yeah.
Now that you finally got your vaccine.
Yeah. How much?
Shit, I don't remember. I honestly I was trying to look it up, but it's just like my scheduling thing. And I don't know. Anyway, it didn't matter to me. Like, I'm not like, I was hoping I could get the 1-shot one, but I got the 2-shot one, and that was the schedule. What the scheduling allowed.
Yeah.
The fastest I could get in there. So. Yeah.
Get any shot you can.
I'll be finishing up Disco Elysium tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow after I get my shot. I don't know how much it's gonna hurt, but
won't hurt at all. It's just
there is one game that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
That I played on Indie Day. That actually, like, I've been playing it off stream. It's a really fun, and I wanted to bring it up because I think you might like it, NL.
Is it Hobo
it's called
Tough Life?
Trials.
Oh, no, different one.
No, it's not Hobo Tough Life.
Okay, what is Trials of Fire?
There's not a lot to discuss there. Trials of Fire. It's a deck building RPG kind of a thing. It has very much like Slay the Spire kind of feeling to it. You unlock cards. It's I have it on hard, and it's fucking hard. I have not beat the first quest yet, and I've played it like probably through, I want to say like 6 or 7, all the way to like when I die. So there's a lot of strategy to it. A lot of cool. It's a lot like Slay the Spire in that you play until you die, you unlock some cards, you play again with these new cards, and going, okay, this synergy works with this. Okay, let's do this, and then you die again. You unlock a couple more cards, and that's the kind of the gameplay loop. And you get like further and further every time. You unlock new characters. You try out let's see, Hunter, Assassin, and Elementalist. I think that might be a good squad. You get 3 squads or 3 characters, and they all have their own deck of cards. Some similar cards like Swipe does 2 damage. Most characters start off with like that basic, like this hits melee or this hits range. But then they along the board, you know how like the Slay the Spire, there's like those question mark things, you hit them up, and there's that all over the map. You just basically move around a map, and you can go to like question marks that are in the middle of nowhere, question marks that are in the middle, like that are on top of ruins, on top of town settlements, stuff like that. There's there's like percent chances that shit will happen in a town. Like it's in a town, there's an 80% chance that it'll be a shop there. There's a 40% chance that it'll be a battle there or whatever. Ruins, battles are more likely in the middle of nowhere. If there's a question mark, it's like material, crafting materials, upgrade materials are more likely, shit like that. So on your way to the main quest, you stop at these question marks and stuff like that, and they make you kind of stop because there's a fatigue. Like you go only so far, and then your crew becomes tired, and they add tired cards into your deck. So when you battle, you'll have those, and you don't want them. So you'll have to stop, rest, eat food, use your supplies. Like on the right there, those squares that are lined up. There's your food, your herbs, and your gold, basically, and use each one of them to do different things. And there's a lot of choose your own adventure shit too. Like you'll go and it'll have like a description, like a DM or a flavor text description, just like that. They'll say, "Hey, this is what's happening. You have these 3 choices. What do you want to do?" It's like you got 50% to get some obsidian, which is gold, or 50% to get hurt. You're like, "Oh man, okay, I'm a gambler." A lot of that really ticks that box for me, which I love. Yeah, yeah. And I've been playing a lot of it. I think the thing that makes me come back is it's difficult on hard to defeat like some of the bosses and monsters and stuff. And sometimes you have the wrong squad because the boss fights, at least in the first quest that I'm doing, they vary. Like the first boss can be one of like 4 or 5 things, or 3 or 4 things. So you go into it and you're like, okay, the boss this time is going to be one of these 3 things. If you have the wrong squad equipped, it's fucking hard or like nigh impossible because he's the counter to your squad. So you got to come up with like how can I take this squad and like beat him in a different way or whatever. It's really, really fun. So
cool.
That's Trials of Fire.
Is it early access or is it out?
I believe it's fully released. It is developed and published by What Boy Games.
Yes.
All one
fabled
word.
developers.
What
Boy?
Yep.
Soon to be
it
with
is fully
Devolver
released. Yeah, it's not an early access, and it's $19.99. So
okay.
Apparently,
really cool.
I guess it's been in early access for a while because it has like 1,900 reviews on Steam. So
what's its rating? What are we looking at?
Very positive.
Oh, very positive. Okay.
Not overwhelming. Very.
Not overwhelming. Okay. Gotcha.
89% of the people say this game was good.
There you go. That's a pretty good percentage. Well, cool. I think that's going to do it for our show. We got to do some shout outs and then we'll get out of here. Zeke, you want to continue talking and do some shout outs?
You bet.
All right. Please. By all means.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching. My name is Ezekiel the Third. You can find me at or / Ezekiel _ III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Big thank you to NL, NorthernLion, Lion like Zion. Thank you for being on the show. You are, it was really fun to hear you talk about intelligently, because talk intelligently about the games you're playing, because I can't, obviously. That's all I got. Just
thank you.
Great.
People are gonna come to my stream and they're gonna hear me just trying to do like inward talking for like an hour, like I try to do. And kill me. They're gonna be like, "What is this guy talking about? Intellectual discourse."
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
Well, that's why I flunked English classes, because I have too many words trying to funnel out of this and they get clogged.
The Disco Elysium of game reviews over here at the of content creator reviews. I don't know where I'm going with this. Cohh, save us. Do some shout outs.
Okay. Big thank you to JP and Zeke, and a huge thanks to NorthernLion. Was awesome today, and appreciate him being on. And thanks to him and his community for stopping by Drop Frames. My name is Cohh. I start every day at 8 a.m. ET. Tomorrow, we're going to be taking a look at a special early look at a game I can't mention yet because it's embargoed. But tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. ET, we're going to be taking a brief look at that game. It's going to be coming out later. And then after that, we're going to dive back into Resident Evil 7 on the PC, which is super cool. Hope you guys join us for that. And then I'll be back tonight about 6:30 p.m. ET for our cozy stream for something. And as we go into the weekend, we're going to be checking out Near Replicant on the PC, and going into May for all sorts of fun stuff. So if I don't see you then, Hope to see you next week at more Drop Frames. Actually, wait, nope.
No show next week. You're out.
No show next week.
Yeah.
Yep, because I'm out doing new home stuff.
Yeah.
But I will see you next time whenever I see you. And as always, thank you for watching.
Cool. All right, NL. It's your time to shine. Do some shout outs. Don't mess it up. A lot hinges on these shout outs, okay?
All right. You got all the information up there. You got me a little anxious. First off, I want to say thanks for having me on the show. And I told, especially, JP, when you were organizing it in the back channel, I told you, like, this is the smoothest, like, onboarding process I've ever had for a collaborative thing that's this complicated in my entire life. Like 2 clicks was all it took to get it going, which was awesome. And I think you guys are doing a great job here. Thanks for welcoming me onto the show. I'll be live right after this at twitch.tv/NorthernLion, and you can probably guess what I'm going to be playing, but I play a little bit of everything, which is a little cool because you never get bored, but also a little annoying because sometimes you'll be like, when are you going to return to that game? And the answer is never. And then youtube.com/NorthernLion, all the stream stuff comes over. There's a little stuff that's made specially for YouTube as well. And twitter.com/NorthernLionLP. That's where don't follow me. They're like, there's nothing going on there. I tweet now and then, but like, it's not that good. Just if you're going to follow on Twitch, twitch.tv/NorthernLion. And that's good enough for me.
There you go. Can you, there's a lot of debate in chat. Can you finally answer the question? Are you actually bald?
Oh yeah, that's like, wouldn't that be a scoop if I just ripped off the bald cap right now? That would be good.
Are you saying there's a chance?
After 10 years?
Is there a chance?
I'm bald.
Okay.
No, I'd like check it out. You can see
after he sends the Markiplier email.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're gonna see me I'm gonna dye my scalp blue and become the next big Twitch streamer.
Nice.
Were you ever a fan of Mr. Show with Bob and David?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, there's a scene where David Cross comes out and he takes off this bald cap and he's bald underneath. He's like, I am actually bald. I don't live in a bald town. I don't say bald things. Like, that's what I picture you just doing right now. Like, I am bald. I'm actually bald.
Yeah.
Bald under this bald cap.
You should wear a bald cap on Halloween just to mess with your community. That'd be good.
Why not? Yeah,
why not? Anyways, that's it. Thanks so much for watching the Drop Frames. NL, thanks so much for coming on and for the kind words as well. We'd love to have you back anytime. Just drop one of us a message. That's it for us, though. No show next week. Code's going to be out. We will be back the start of May. I guess will be the next episode. Well, when does Resident Evil 8 come out? Is that the 7th? Something like
May
that.
7th.
Okay, so it will not be out for our next show, but I'm sure we'll be talking about it at length. So thank you guys so much for watching. Regardless, we will see you next time on Drop Frames. We're out of here. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.